Sunil sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
So you are a host, okay? Sorry, you are a host now, sir.
Yes, yes. Sir, is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
खाली हेलो खाली
Madam, voice is inaudible.
not reaching, voice is not reaching properly.
Please ask the technician. Yeah, dear participant, we have not started yet. We are waiting for people. Is it audible now? Okay, yes, yes.
Namaste, Sukar sir.
Yes, yes, yes. You are visible, sir.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes, yes, yes. You are visible.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, it is host disabled participant screen sharing.
No, no. Have you called Dr. Sunil?
Sir, now you are co-host. I think you can do screen sharing.
Because I would like to check before going to start this one. It's working or not.
Yes, sir. Now
Okay,
you are
sir.
co-host.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Is the share screen option available, sir, on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sunil, everything is,
Okay, sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, it is visible.
Yes, sir. Your screen is also visible.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Shall I leave the screen or shall I leave the screen like this, sir?
Sir. Yes, sir. After 5 minutes, if you share the screen, that will be fine.
Okay, sir.
Sunil, sir,
Yes, sir.
okay, everything is ready.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Yeah.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
कोण घेतो याच्या आधी आम्ही येतो तिथं आलो 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 तुम्ही काय घेतो आधी
Dr. Sunil, sir, can we start?
Sir, we are waiting for principal, madam.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
fine.
मीटिंग झालं पण इथे आवाजच येत नाही बघ जरा आवाज येत नाही तर मीटिंग काय बोलते मलाच कळत नाही मीटिंग झालं पण आवाज येत नाही असं ते बोलते
अगं तू हे बिघडलाय.
हे कनेक्ट झालेलं
अगं
आहे.
पण तो तिकडचं
तुझं ते
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
केलं होतंस. लावतो आता हात लाव. हात लाव.
Hello, Zareen madam. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, please start, please start.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, Drumi.
Mic one.
Hello, Drumi.
Dr. Sunil, can I start?
Start, sir.
Yeah. Sunil, we can start.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Ma'am, ma'am is there. We start now.
Good evening, good afternoon to everybody.
Sir, 1 minute. Drumi is there.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Just a minute.
Greetings to everyone present here. This is Drumi Singh, host of this evening, and on behalf of Department of English, Bhavans College, Mumbai, I would like to welcome you all for national level webinar on the topic Communication Skills, a Gateway to Employment. Jointly organized by the Departments of English, Dr. Tatya Saheb Natu College, Chiplun, ICS College, Khed, and Bhavans College, Mumbai. I would like to welcome the principals, Dr. Vijay Kumar Khot, Principal of Dr. Natu College, Dr. Gopinath Sarang, Principal of ICS College, Dr. Zareen Bathena, Principal of Bhavans College, Mumbai. I would also like to welcome Vice Principal of Arts, Stream Bhavans College, Rekha Sharma ma'am, and the teachers and participants from all over India. And last but not the least, our guest speaker for today's webinar, Dr. K. Venkat Satish, Assistant Professor of Department of English from Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technology, Andhra Pradesh. Before I start, I would like to call upon Dr. Zareen Bathena, Principal of Bhavans College, Mumbai, to share her views on this webinar.
Thank you, one and all over here, for inviting me to this webinar. It's a great pleasure to be with you all. And we are highly obliged over here to the principals of Tatya Saheb Natu College and ICS College over here for being the co-host with us on this webinar. This webinar is on a very important topic of communication skills. And I feel that each and every participant who has joined in this webinar will definitely be enriched with the talks and the series of lectures that we are going to hold in this program. We as human beings are endowed here with the values of speech. And our speech has to be sweet, has to be effective, and has to communicate what we think. It is with this idea that our students must know how to present their thoughts and their ideas to that of the world. Because even after knowing everything, having knowledge, having over here all the skills necessary, if you cannot communicate to the world and tell it to your boss, there is no way in which you will be able to succeed. It is with this idea in mind that the communication skills webinar has been jointly decided by all of us. And it's with great pleasure that here I inaugurate this seminar for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
You are not audible. You are on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for your appreciating words. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Gopinath Sarang, but due to some reasons, he is not available with us right now. But he has shared his video message so we could play it. And so Sunil sir, could you please share it?
Yeah, just 1 minute. Just
मला गरम पडतं.
Sir, is it screen visible?
yes, sir, visible. Yeah.
Hello. Myself, Dr. Vijay Kumar Khote, the principal of this college, Dr. Tatya Saheb Natu College of Arts and Senior College of Commerce. The Department of English of my college, as well as ICS College, Khed, Bhavans College, Andheri, have jointly organized this webinar on the topic Communication Skills, a Gateway for the Best Future. I think all of us read and write English and obtain the degrees, but beyond that, the way in which you speak the language, the way in which you pronounce the words matters much. It is very important skill which becomes very useful for your future life. So I wish all the best for this webinar. I think all the participants will contribute a lot and also benefit a lot from this webinar. Thank you. All the best. Thank you.
Yes, to remain, over to you.
Yes. Those were kind and beautiful words by sir, and now I would like to call upon a video by Dr. Dr. Gopinath Sarang sir, as he too, due to some reasons, is not available with us right now. Sunil sir would present it. Sir, could you please present the video?
I hope
Yes.
visible.
Good morning to all and welcome to organizer, resource person and all participants for national webinar on communication skill, a gateway to employment. Communication skill have misconception among college students that they need communication skill is all about speaking. They should realize that it is not only speaking but also include facial expression and body languages as well. Communication is an essential part of our life. Lack of effective communication may create a more problem and may hamper our ambitions. English is the language of global commerce. The role and outcome of English language provisions in English medium higher education institutions remain central to any discussion on graduate profile and the employability of graduates in the global marketplace. Students need to make themselves as a confident, knowledgeable individual during the recruitment process and after recruitment, continuing to operate successfully in the sociologistic culture of their company. Consequently, it is concluded that English language training in higher education programs need to move from purely linguistic and degree-related context area to a broader remit of English for communication purposes that covers both specialized discourse field and broader generative employability skill and competencies. Recent trend of employers that they expect graduates to not only have degree level technical and discipline competency, but also a range of broader skill and attributes that include teamwork, communications, leadership, critical thinking, problem solving, and managerial abilities. This transferable skill also classified as a soft communication skill. Communication can be seen as an application of first or second languages literacy like developed ability to produce clear, structured written work, to process effective listening and questioning skill, to demonstrate effective negotiating and persuasion skill and speed, and to establish network and share information across a range of technology. With support of aforesaid qualities, graduating students need to become a brand themselves, developing confident and knowledgeable even before entering the workplace. They need to demonstrate they fit and are therefore able to contribute to productive and harmonious relationship within the workforce. Thus, communication is only again demonstrated as a being interlinked with personal attributes. Today's world is challenging world, fast-growing world, computing world. Anyone who stands in such an ICT era is need to have strong and effective communication skill. I hope this webinar will justify the purpose and more or less help for developing communication skill among students of higher education. With this short note, I wish to fruitful outcome of this seminar and hope for bright future of students in the field of employability. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Yes, Dhruvi.
That was wonderful and appreciating words by sir. And it's true, communication is a really important attribute in today's world. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. Vijay Kumar Khoth to share his views on this session.
So, Dhruvi, that video message was over.
Now, in order to introduce the workshop, may I please request Dr. H.L. Narayan Rao sir from Department of English, head of Bhavans College, to give us a glimpse on this session.
Yes, thank you very much, Dhruvi, giving this opportunity to share my view and welcoming the resource person and also organizers and students and all teachers of English department. And it is interdisciplinary. Language matters for every subject. And English language particularly is meant for learning of science, arts, engineering, commerce, everywhere. Today's webinar seminar, it's a national level, which is conducted for the purpose of our students to know the importance of communication skills, which leads a successful life in future of the students. Here we are invited Dr. K. Venkatesh Satishji, who will share his views, his experience, his expertise, his analysis, how important communication skills we have to understand from him. Communication skills we have been observing and studying right from the beginning. Now sir will explain us its importance by expressing our thoughts freely and also our opinions and also interacting. I wanted to say very simply, you have a good words. Definitely you have the quality of winning the world. Word power, vocabulary will make you to win the world. Today we have seen all over the world some disturbance, conflicts, chaos, because lack of proper dialogue. Communication, we avoid this kind of situation where world is going to face. Anyhow, this is the fine opportunity. Dr. Satishji to share his experience, and we look forward to hearing him in this national level webinar seminar. Dr. Venkat Satishji, please. Over to Dhruvi.
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us this information about this webinar. The time comes now. But before that, I would like to call upon Dr. Suresh Sutar, sir, Assistant Professor in Dr. Nathu College, to introduce today's guest speaker, Dr. K. Venkat Satish.
Am I audible, ma'am? Hello?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, audible.
So very good afternoon to one and all. Myself,
Good
Dr.
afternoon.
Suresh Sutar, Assistant Professor from Dr. Nathu College, Margatamani, District Ratnagiri in the state of Maharashtra. It is my great privilege to introduce today's guest speaker, Dr. K. Venkat Satish, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge, Technology, Andhra Pradesh. He is a renowned resource person, research scholar on national and international level. With 18 years teaching experience, he has played a very dynamic and academic roles like Senior Advisory Council member, training facilitator for orientation programs, editors for journals of humanities, academic counselor, and many more designations in the field of higher education. He has been one of the reviewers of US-China foreign language and Sino-US English teaching. He has been an honorary editor of the peer-reviewed journal entitled Indo-Tech Journal of English Language Teaching. He has many national awards at his credit, like Telangana State Living Legend, ICMDR Best Teacher Award, Educationist Award, Best Academic Researcher, Youth Worker Award for his academic contribution to the society. In the realm of publication, he has edited more than 7 books and equally authored 7 books, which reveals his research aptitude in the field of higher education. He has actively played the role of coordinator for workshops, FDBs, and online courses. He has discharged his duty as keynote speaker for faculty development webinars, national webinars, international FDPs, and so on. He was the chairperson in International Conference Advisory Committee member for national conferences and guest speaker for many national and international seminars. He has presented 14 research papers in international seminars and conferences and 16 research papers in UGC-sponsored national level seminars. He has actively participated in 13 different workshops. He has published 18 research papers in international journals and 12 research papers in national journals. He has been a life member of International Association for Language Learning Technology, Association for the Advanced Computing Education, Triveni Foundation for India's Literary and Cultural Quarterly, English Language Teachers Association of India, and Indian Society for Technical Education. We are quite fortunate enough to have such a great research-oriented speaker and academician today. On behalf of myself, I welcome you, sir, for today's National Indisability webinar, jointly organized by the Departments of English and IPSCs of Dr. Nathu College, Margatamane, ICS College, Khed, and Bhavans College, Andheri, Mumbai. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Yeah, okay. Continue, Drumi.
Those were some great words by sir, and your works are innumerable. So now I would like to give the mic to you to address us. We are really thankful to have you here, sir.
Thank you, Drumi. And thank you, the conveners, Dr. Suresh Sutar sir, Dr. Varasab Yadav sir, and Dr. Sunil Gondali sir, HODs, principal secretaries of all the 3 colleges, Dr. Tatya Saheb, Natu College of Arts and Senior College of Commerce, Ratnagiri, and ICS College of Arts and Commerce and Science, Khed, and Bhavans College, Andheri. Thank you for kind invitation for this national level seminar organizing with the cooperation of all these colleges from the Department of English and IQAC. Thank you, sir. So before going to start my expressions on the given topic, that is communication skills, a gateway to employment. So I would like to define what communication skills, and then I will take some examples. Then I will start what communication skills and my presentation. So just a minute, I would like to share my screen. Hope that the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you. The remaining slides will be played after the introduction and some examples about the importance of communication skills. So let us see what is communication skills. Communication skills allow us to understand and be understood by others. And this can be included, but are not limited to effectively communicating ideas to others. Actively listening in conversations, giving and receiving critical feedback, and public speaking. Communication skills are the liabilities one can use while giving and receiving different kinds of information. And some examples include communicating new ideas, feelings, or even an update on the project. Communication skills involve listening, speaking, observing, and empathizing. Communication skills are also helpful to understand the differences in how to communicate through face-to-face interactions, phone conversations, digital communication like email and social media. And honing and brushing our communication skills, it always influences our career and daily success at work. And according to the world famous career coach, Hallie Crawford, he says, how well you communicate impacts efficiency, effectiveness, trust between employees, your brand, and how you come across as a professional, and much more. And in continuation of this, communication skills are an important aspect of success in almost any industry or in everyone's work. And effective communication skills, it always builds a career understanding between oneself and others. By using these skills, one can enhance his ability to convey ideas and emotions, listen to others, respond appropriately, and absorb information around us, utilizing and actively working on listening skills. And it also helps lead to greater career success and workplace satisfaction. And in this, let us look at some steps which is going to be considered to improve communication skills in and become as successful as possible. So before going into that, let's have some beautiful examples about communication skills, so that these examples will help us to know the importance of communication skills in our day-to-day life. So I would like to take an example about the poor communication. So it is a short story. So hope that you will pay an attention towards the context and the purpose of this story, which tells about how the poor communication makes us a poor impact on the listeners.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I think your screen is frozen.
Pardon?
Your screen is frozen. Only the files are visible to us, not the PPT.
Only files are visible.
Yes.
Sir, your PPT is not visible, only your file. Please show your PPT.
Okay, so just a minute, I will do it.
Satish sir, you are trying to click on, but it's unable to display on the screen. I hope.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Is it clear now?
No, sir, not yet.
Still the same issue, sir. Just you are showing that the context on the screen, but not the PPT. Maybe double click or yeah, it's fine, sir.
Yes.
Now it's clear?
Now
Yes,
it's
sir.
visible, sir. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Go on.
Sorry to disturb you, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Now it is very much visible.
Okay, so before going to leap into the communication skills, importance of communication skills, let's have a beautiful example. Just pay attention towards this example. One day, a rather old fashion lady was planning a couple of weeks vacation in Florida. She also was quite delicate and elegant with her language, and she wrote a letter to a particular campground and asked for reservations. She wanted to make sure the campground was fully equipped, but did not know quite how to ask about the toilet facilities. She just couldn't bring herself to write the word toilet in her letter. After much deliberation, she finally came up with the old-fashioned term bathroom commode. But when she wrote that down, she still thought that she was being too forward, so she started all over again, rewrote the entire letter, and referred to the bathroom commode simply as the BC, abbreviation BC. B stands for bathroom, C stands for commode, according to her point of view. And the campground have its own BC, is what she actually wrote. The campground owner wasn't old-fashioned at all, and when he got the letter, he couldn't figure out what the lady was talking about. That BC really stumped him. After worrying about it for several days, he showed the letter to other campers, but they couldn't figure out what the lady meant either. The campground owner finally came to the conclusion that the lady was and must be asking about the location of the local Baptist church. Here, the campground organizers, they thought BC stands for Baptist church. And according to the landlord lady, BC stands for bathroom commode. So he sat down and wrote the following reply. Dear ma'am, I regret very much the delay in answering your letter, but I now take pleasure of informing you that the BC is located 9 miles north of the campsite. Look at that. And is capable of seating 250 people at one time. I admit it is quite a distance away. If you are in the habit of going regularly, but no doubt you will be pleased to know that a great number of people take their lunches along and make a day of it. They usually arrive early and stay late. The last time my wife and I went was 6 years ago, and it was so crowded we had to stand up the whole time we were there. It may interest you to know that right now there is a supper planned to raise money to buy more seats. They plan to hold the supper in the middle of the BC, and according to the camp organizers, BC stands for Baptist Church. But in view of old-fashioned lady landlord, BC stands for bathroom commode. And what he says, look at the conversation which has been taken place in between the landlord lady and the organizers of the campground. And what he says, they plan to hold the supper in the middle of the BC. And so everyone can watch and talk about this great event. I would like to say it pains me very much not to be able to go more regularly, but it is surely not for lack of desire on my part. As we grow older, it seems to be more and more of an effort, particularly in cold weather. If you decide to come down to the campground, perhaps I could go with you the first time you go, sit with you, and introduce you to all the other folks. This is really a very friendly community. See, this is what we can say, a poor communication. So here the landlord lady thinks about that BC stands for bathroom commode, and the campground organizers, they thought that BC stands for Baptist Church. And the explanation what they give, and clearly it tells about the writing skills. Okay, so this is one example what I want to give, that how communication skills plays an important role. And let's take one more example, then we'll start it. Communication, the way we express and what we say, communication, a skillful communication in order to execute our work in an effective way in today's world. So it's an example, the two friends, what we can say, Jack and Max are walking from religious service. After attending the church or some religious service, they're coming back. Jack wonders whether it would be all right to smoke while praying. Here, the conversation took place between two, Jack and Max, and Jack asks, it wonders whether it would be all right to smoke while praying. Then Max replies, why don't you ask the priest? So Jack goes up to the priest and asks, priest, May I smoke while I pray? Jack asks the priest that, may I smoke while I pray? Immediately, the priest says, no, my son, you may not. That's utter disrespect to our religion. And Jack was very disappointed, and he goes back to his friend and tells him what the good priest told him. Then Max says, dear friend, don't be afraid. And I think that, or I am surprised you asked the wrong question. And his friend Max says that, don't bother about the response of the priest. I think that you have not conveyed your expression in a right manner. Then I will try. He took the permission and he went to the priest and asked the priest, excuse me, priest. And he says, may I pray while I smoke? Hope that you understand the question, the way he asked, the way Jack asked, and the way Max asked. Here, Jack asked, the difference between the two questions and the way of communication, Jack asked, may I smoke while I pray? So when it was asked by Jack to the priest, and priest immediately rejected his proposal, his request. But in the same way, the same expression asked by Max in a different way. And what he said, may I pray while I smoke? And immediately the priest eagerly replies, by all means, my son, by all means, you are allowed to smoke. And what is the moral of this story? It means the reply you get depends on the question you ask. It depends upon the expressions, what you express in front of others. See, your intention is that you want to smoke. But when you ask, like the question, may I smoke while I pray? So the statement or the request was not served. And immediately, Max asked the same question or the same expression in his own way. Means he communicated his expression like, may I pray while I smoke? And immediately he got acceptance. So here it means that in communication, like we have all the 4 skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. In speaking, it plays a major role while communicating ourselves with the others. And here, the reply you get depends on the question you ask. Like you can take another example. Can I work on this project while I am on vacation? So really you want to take vacation. And if you directly ask your manager, your superior that I need vacation and I need some break. So what happens in this corporate world? The company is not ready to give a long vacation. And immediately your request will be rejected. And instead of that, if you say to your boss, can I work on this project while I am on vacation? You will be granted, your vacation will be granted. Here, your vacation is not granted, your work is granted. You are allowed to work during your vacation because you are working for the company. So means here it is called as communication skills. And that's why it is called as the gateway to employment. The way you communicate with the others is very, very important. The way you express your views are very, very important. So these are the 2 examples and the definition what I want to give. And these definitions and examples, hope it brings a lot of impact on the importance and the necessity of learning communication skills, which help us to enter into the outer world in the competitive world, where we have to face ourselves a huge competition with our opponents. Now let us begin. Communication skills, a gateway to employment. In what way or this presentation will help me or help us to express my views, my opinion, how communication skills will help us to enter into the world of employment. So here, what is the communication? And because here, why the word communication? And the word communication nowadays, it becomes a buzzing word. Always from sunrise to sunset, and wherever you go and move from one place to another place, here we come across communication skills. It becomes a part of our life, and it becomes a buzzing word to us, and it plays a major role in our life. Everywhere we listen, communication, or Most of the people gives us a free advice, and they also encourage us to learn communication skills or improve communication skills or enhance communication skills. So what the word communication means. So if you go into the origin of the word communication, it has been derived from the Latin word, which is called as communis, or we can say common in our regular meaning. And here communicate means to make common or to make known. It means to make understand what you want to express or what you want to share with the others. And this communication process, here the information is exchanged between individuals or group of people with the help of symbols, signs, and gestures. And in this communication skills, the role of language makes an effective information to transfer to the others. And in the same way, effective communication skills are the critical element of our life. Like we know, the elements of our life, like there are 5 elements, which is called as, and we are very aware, water, the first element, it means jal. A, it means vayu. The third element, fire, agni or tejas. The fourth element, earth, it means prithvi. The sky, the last element, sky, akash. So here the human beings surrounded with these 5 elements, and absence of any of these elements will be a huge disastrous to the human life. And these are the 5 elements which everyone is aware of it. And in my point of view, as it says, the critical element of life. So what I say, communication skills is a 6th element to every human being. As there are 5 elements in this universe, in the same way, I include, in my opinion, communication skills is a 6th element, and it is also a critical element of our life. Because why it is called as a critical element? Because the absence of these communication skills, the absence of the communication skills in our lives may be very, very disastrous, and sometimes people loses their lives due to the lack of communication skills. It does not mean that communication skills means the giving presentations, taking part in the group discussions, presentation, PowerPoint presentations, interviews, and all these things. It is not. It is one part of the communication skills. Generally, communication skills, it means communicating with the others. Open your mind. Open your mind, open your thoughts to speak, to share your ideas, views, expressions, knowledge with the others. Like nowadays, we have observed advertisements on TV. Like it about the Google website, where a maid, a servant asks how to open the bank account. And the owner of that house, he says that, bol ke to dekho, means mic. Instead of typing in the Google search bar, just use the microphone, the symbol of mic on the Google that website. So it means the owner says that bol ke to dekho. So when you start speaking, what is the intention? When you start speaking, you will get the answer. When the maid, the servant asks that how to open bank account, please Google tell me how to open the bank account. Immediately the servant gets the instructions how to open the bank account. So what happens? So what it reflects the owner? He says that bol ke to dekho. So she tried. She opened her mouth. She expressed her views, and she shared her thought to the Google how to open bank account. And immediately she got the response. Immediately she received the response or the answer from the Google. Okay. So means what happens here? That is the critical element of our life. Suppose, imagine that if the servant didn't ask, and internally she feels that how to ask this question to others and how to open my bank account. If she struggles, then it could not be easy to open a bank account. So that's why here, effective communication skills or communication is a critical element of our life. And here the communication skills are furtherly divided into 2 or categorized or classified into 2. One is called as verbal communication skills and non-verbal communication skills. So on the screen, you may have seen some of the pictures. Okay, here the communication, it says share, chat, exchange of information, the 2 people sitting at the table, and exchanging of information. Whatever the information it may be, communication means common, to make common to everyone. Whatever the ideas, feelings, expressions, thoughts which you have incurred in your mind, share to others. Okay, and how to share and what happens sharing of the knowledge with the others. Let's see in the coming slide. So the communication skills. It is the process of transmitting information from one person to another person by adopting the different skills like listening, speaking, reading, writing. So by adopting these 4 skills, we can share the communication with the others. So here, what do we share with the others? We share our feelings, we share our emotions, we share our ideas, our thoughts, our messages, our data, and our analyzations, our opinions with the others. Sometimes we use the text messages in order to share our feelings with the others. And sometimes the technology has provided, the WhatsApp has provided various feelings with the help of emotions. They have given the choices, GIF files and emotions, and all these are the expressions by which we can use to express our feelings. Because as we know that picture, okay, plays a major role than the words. Okay, a single picture can replace 1,000 words. Like you can take the example of a primary school children when you're teaching, or when you're teaching to our sons and daughters or the teachers at the school, they introduced A for apple, and they say that A for apple, A-P-P-L-E, apple, and they write it on the board, and they continuously say apple, 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 and students also follow, and they mug up the word A stands for apple, and the spelling of the apple is A-P-P-L-E, apple. And it becomes, and after 1 or 2 classes, when the teacher conducts a dictation and the teacher announces, write apple, we cannot get the 100% result. Some say APPLE apple, some write APLE apple, some write APL apple, like that. And here, after continuous teaching of this word apple, 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 and at the end, if you show banana and ask them, it is apple, then he will say it is apple only. Because we have not used our emotions, our feelings, our pictures. We have not communicated the language, what you want to tell through the communication skills. And instead of teaching a long hours of about apple, just bring an apple and show it to the students and say, dear students, it is apple, and the spelling of this fruit is APPLE. That's enough. So means what happens in that way when you adopt this kind of technology? So what happens here? The communication reaches at the earliest from one person to the other person. So means we are sharing our information, our feelings, emotions, ideas, analysis, data, thoughts, messages with the help of the different technologies like listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay. So let us look at it. What is an effective communication skill stands for? So here the effective communication skills are the fundamental for success in many aspects of life. Like we have taken 2 examples, like the one example of landlord, lady landlord, other example of Max and Jack. So what happens here? In both the cases from both the end, both are correct, but the communication went wrong between in the 2 examples. Here the landlord lady tells that BC stands for bathroom commode, and the campground people thought that BC stands for Baptist Church. And in another example, Max and Jack, one wants to smoke while doing prayer, and other wants to do prayer while smoking. See here, in one case, in one example, one was successful, and another one was failure because of lack of effective communication skills. And when the candidate or the student learn a good communication skills, he will get a good job. Because here the communication skills are very, very important. It provides a good communication skills based on which a person can build up a good relationships with his family members, with his friends, with the neighbors, and all the other people in and around of his house. Like one of our delegate, sir, has said that a lot of disturbance has been taking place nowadays in our world because lack of communication. The communication has not been occurred a successful communication or an effective communication has been not taken place between the two, or we can say the X and Y countries, and it leads to the various conflicts. And the same reason for the conflicts also occurs between the life partners, wife and husband, or among the family members, with our friends, or in the society. So the reason for these conflicts and distractions and deviations in our life, because only that we have not communicated well or not communicating well with the others. So like he says that, can I do the project work on my vacation, or shall I take vacation? So means what happens, the conveying or convincing of the people is very, very important in the communication skills. So when you adopt the various communication skills, or when you enhance or improve your communication skills, it is the gateway to the employment. Like a passport provides us, or the visa provides us to step into the other part of the world. In the same way, communication plays the role of passport, communication plays the role of visa, or we can say communication plays the role of ticket. Like if you want to make your journey a successful way, then you have to take a ticket in the bus, train, or airplane. Unless you take the ticket, you are not allowed to continue your journey. In the same way, unless you acquire with a good communication skills, it is not possible to survive in this present competitive world. And that's why nowadays, the communication skills are also called as survival skills or life skills. The word with communication skills does not end nowadays. The word communication skills has extended his expansions, has reached his horizons, and it says that it is also called as survival skills and life skills. Because survival skills, the skills which help us to survive. Here, what are the skills? Communication skills. What are in that? Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And that's why here, effective communication skills plays the important or the vital interpersonal skills in our life. And here, improving communication skills has a lot of benefits, and it has many benefits. Like you can share, you can convey your purpose, your point of message, what you want to tell with the others in an effective way. When you know communication skills, you can present your points and you can make it understand with the others. When you have the good communication skills, you can check for understanding and reactions of the others. When you convey the message effectively to the others, then you can wait for their reactions, whether it is acceptable or rejected. Like as in the example, one say that, may I smoke while doing prayer, or while prayer, may I smoke. So what happens? You can wait for the result. You can wait for the reactions. The better communication gives the good reactions to us. And the communication skills also handle the reactions which you have presented. If you say yes, then you will be happy. And if you say no, you will not be happy. And at the same time, communication skills also help us to summarize our point, our main points, what you want to tell with the others. That's why here it is very, very important to improve everyone's communication skills nowadays. And let us see what is the communication process. And here communication process takes place between two people. Okay, and these two people are called as sender and receiver. Okay, sender sends the message and receiver receives the message. So here the coding and decoding takes place with the common channel or the medium of communication, that is the language. And sometimes in this medium of communication, sometimes there will be a lot of barriers, which is called as the barriers of communication. So let us see here. And here the communication, which is very, very important and need to improve by everyone, that is called as different types of communication skills or different types of communication. And here, majorly the communication skills are four, and they're called as listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And let us see with the speaking skills. So developing communication through speaking skills. And here, in order to make it more effective, I would like to take an example from our mythology. And we all know that about Lord Ganesha, and when he asked to write Mahabharata. Okay, and here the So here it was proposed to write a Mahabharata, and the sage Vyasa Maharshi, he requested all the gods that I need a person who could write without taking any rest during his speech or during orating Mahabharata. And all the gods in the heaven, they have a discussion, and they appointed Lord Ganesha to write Mahabharata, to inscript Mahabharata. And here the days took place, and the inscription has been started, and Mahabharata has been successfully inscripted. And at the end of the part, when it is completed, then Vyasa Maharshi asked Lord Ganesha, how could it be happened? Number of verses, number of words, a number of examples I have taken, and I have explained, I have uttered, and without asking for any repetition, you inscribed all the words, whatever I expressed. How could it happen? Then he said that listening plays an important role. If you pay an attention towards the speech, when a speaker is giving his speech, when the teacher or our parents telling something, when you pay an attention, when you pay an attentive, or when you are in attentive mode, then it is possible and you will not be distracted unless you are attentive when someone's speech. So here that attentive skills I have adopted while listening your speech, while listening your narration, and I narrated the entire Mahabharata without asking the repetition. How could it be possible? By inculcating the listening skills. Okay, so that is the one example which we can learn from Mahabharata, how it was inscripted by our Lord Ganesha. So here, what is speaking? Let's start with the speaking. What is speaking here? Speaking, it means conveying or saying or telling or uttering something which occurs in our mind. Because here it's a mind is a, we can say it can be compared with a hard disk or central processing unit. So everything it goes on in our mind. Okay, and whatever we feel, either it is happiness or unhappiness or any kind of information or message, if you want to tell with the others, we use speech. Okay, before the invention of the speech sounds, people used some symbols, some signs. That is called as non-verbal communication. And later the development of the signs, later the development of this speech sounds, then we started to give our expressions into form of words. And we use that words in order to speak with the others. It means we are conveying. Speaking, it means we are conveying, we are transforming, we are expressing our views, our ideas, our feelings, our thoughts in the way of language. And here the language plays the role of medium, or we can say language is a medium of all expressions. Either you can adopt Hindi, English, Telugu, or any national languages, which is common between the listener and the speaker. But you cannot speak Tamil with the Hindi person who does not know Tamil, and you cannot speak Hindi with the Tamilian who does not know Tamil. So what happens here? The speaking, the conveying the information will not be transferred effectively, and we say that, and we say sorry in this concept that communication does not occur, does not achieve its successful results. And here speaking is the act of generating words that can be understood by listeners. Okay, like one of our delegates has said that, so that by words you can transform anything. And here this word has so much power, or speech is a powerful weapon. We can say in nowadays, speech is a powerful weapon. Here, the words have the power to hurt the people. At the same time, words have the power to heal the people. So it means words can hurt the people, and at the same time, words can heal the people. And that is the power of words. That is the power of vocabulary. As one of the principal or the secretary, he says that power of vocabulary. So that is the power of vocabulary which one has to inculcate in his speech or in his communication skills. Like he also raised the point of importance of vocabulary. So on this occasion, I will add that vocabulary in our speech is like wheels So every vehicle needs the wheels. Without wheels, the vehicle cannot move from one space to another space. It cannot move an inch without wheels. So the vocabulary plays the role of wheels in communication. A rich vocabulary adds an additional flavor in our speech. Like when you're preparing a delicious biryani, we use so many ingredients now to bring it a tasty and delicious. Here, the ingredients are is called as vocabulary. So here, usage of idioms, phrases, expressions, and all these things, one-word substitutions, all these are the parts of vocabulary which help us to make our speech in an effective way, and people pay an attention towards you, and people love to listen to you. So in that way, we have to develop our communication skills so that people pay an ear to listen, and people love to listen to you when one speaks with the others. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, look at that, the effective speaking skills. In continuation of that, speaking, what are the effective speaking skills? Think before you speak. Instead, clear your mind and focus on the message being received. So here, whatever you want to convey with the others, it is very, very important that one should be very clear of thoughts. Okay, so unless you are clear of thoughts, it is not possible to convey our message from oneself to the others. So that is one skill which we have to adopt. Means how to increase our speaking skills. Means one should be very, very clear while speaking with the others. Means you should frame what you want to tell with the others, what you want to convey to others. There should be a clear message in our mind. At the same time, always learn to listen not only to the words being spoken, but how they are being spoken and the non-verbal messages sent with them. So always try to speaking is always interrelated with the listening. So here, when you are adopting the speaking technique, at the same time, will also play the role of listener, vice versa, speaker and listener. So when you speak, it should be with a clear thought of mind. And when you listen, you should pay an attentiveness. You should you should be attentive while listening with the others. At the same time, how can you say that you are a good speaker? How can you say that you are a good listener? Because in meanwhile, you have to adopt the technique of clarification and reflection to avoid any kind of confusion. So when you ask some questions, you respond like yes, yeah, okay, I think so. When you raise some questions, when you reflect on the points, it tells that you are not having any kind of confusion, and the message is very clear to you. And we should always remember that what kind of points, in what way you can pass on the communication to the others. That's why here always choose the easier points or easy language or simple language in order to communicate with the others. And at the same time, facts and respond well to the questions, because the listening and speaking takes place. And always use the easy language and always use the simple words in order to communicate with the others. Because here the communication can be occurred successfully when the listener able to understand you. So when you use the hi-fi language or the bombastic language and the rich vocabulary to the listener may not be at your IQ level, or the listener's IQ level may not be like you. So what happens here? We can say there is a failure of a communication. There is a failure of communication. So here, whatever the speech or the speaking ideas, your message you want to give to the others, it has not been reached up to the level because the listener's IQ level is not up to the mark. So that's why one should use easy language and simple words. And always try to give examples. When you are conveying the message or information to the others, always try to give some examples or illustrate the examples. So your speech should be reached in an effective way to the listeners. And at the same time, one should follow the time schedule. And always know your message and know your audience. Means who are your listeners? Because here the scientist cannot speak with the farmers, and here the doctor cannot speak with the others. So the audience are very, very important. It is because here one should know who is my audience and who are my listeners. So then only an effective communication takes place, or the speaking skills can be placed with the others. So here when you come to the part of academics, so what are the speaking skills, or in what way a student get an opportunity to enhance his speaking abilities? So every student in every college, he gets an ample opportunity in order to express his views. So here the faculty members of the departments and the college always play a major role to the students to give an opportunity to express his views. And here the student can utilize the opportunity of taking part in the lectures, tutorials and practicals. The student can take place or play an active role in seminars and workshops. Student can give technical presentations. The student can take part in the academic discussions. He can interact on the academic issues. Sometimes it will viva voice when it take place, the lab sessions, the physics lab, chemistry lab, or the English language labs, viva sessions, oral interactions, and a submission of the oral reports. So these are some of the various opportunities where every student get a beautiful platform by his mentors or his teachers to speak in front of the others, to share his views on the given topic or any topic. So here these are the speaking platforms where student should play, student has to take an opportunity to develop his speaking skills or to develop his communication skills. Because here one should remember that communication skills are not available in the open market or in the shopping malls or in the online platform where you can purchase 1 kg of communication skills or 10 kg of communication skill or 1 bag full of communication skills. It is not available in the market. It is a person's intention, is a dire desire to learn the communication skills. Unless a candidate has a dire desire, a burning desire to learn the communication skills, it is not possible to acquire or enhance or brush up his communication skills. And how to acquire these communication skills? Whenever you get an opportunity, whenever a student or whenever any of us as a living being, any human being, whenever he gets an opportunity to speak or to express his ideas, one should not be a blank face. Okay, so here you always students should always be eager and anxious, and they should be always what we can say is curiosity to grab the attention, to grab the opportunity. So whatever the teachers or the mentors or the faculty members give the students, because nowadays what happens, what we example or experience that when you ask someone in the class, please come up and express your views or come here and introduce yourself or give a speech on this topic, and we can easily identify that students always try to escape and they try to hide themselves. Students always try to themselves. So what happens here? Here the question raises, how long will you hide yourself? How long will you run away from yourself? The day will come, the fine day will come when you are in search of the job, when you are in search for the employment where you have to open the mouth. So what happens here? Again, the unseen boundaries will hold you. What are that unseen boundaries in which you are binded yourself in the four walls of the horizon? That is shyness, afraid, hesitation, and lack of knowledge. All these are the psychological barriers, or all these are some of the barriers which holds you, which prevents you to step ahead. So these are the opportunities: taking part in the lectures, tutorials, practicals, seminars, workshops, technical presentations, academic discussions, academic interactions, viva voice, oral interactions, oral reports, and there may be some other opportunities like taking part in the events, events, college day programs, workshops, and some of the other events which take place in colleges. So these are the beautiful opportunities where student has to utilize these opportunities to open the mouth so that he can develop his speaking abilities. So that is a brief information about the how we can develop through speaking. And the next one is developing communication skills through listening. The second one, the second skill is listening. So a beautiful quotation has been laid by Mark Twain. What he says that if we were supposed to talk more than listen, we would have been given 2 mouths and 1 ear. So once again, I'm repeating that. If we were supposed to talk more than listen, we would have been given 2 mouths and 1 ear. It means that it reflects the proverb, speech is silent, speech is silver, silent is gold. Okay. So here it means that every human being has 2 ears and 1 mouth. It tells that listen more, speak less. Listen more, give more, devote more time for listening. Devote more time for listening. What kind of listening? An attentive listening. An attentive listening. So that's why here the God has provided us with 2 ears so that you can listen properly and react effectively. So that may be the one reason for the conflicts which we are experiencing nowadays in the world, and the conflicts and the disturbances which we also experience in our day-to-day life, maybe with our life partner, maybe with our friends, relatives, brothers and sisters. Because the one reason is we don't listen. We don't listen, and we never try to listen also. Unless we listen, unless we understand, and if these 2 things, listening and understand, takes place in an effective way, I am very sure that no conflicts will be raised on this universe. So that's what Mark Twain said, that if we were supposed to talk more than listen, we would have been given 2 mouths and 1 ear. So in this world, everyone wants to raise his voice and everyone wants to make others to listen to him. Everyone wants to make others to listen to him only. So by means what happens, he shouts, he raises his voice, he raises his pitch that I am correct, my view is correct. My view is correct. So means what happens here, the understanding and analyzing could not take place in a proper way. So when understanding and analyzing does not take place proper way, obviously there is a chance for the conflicts and misunderstanding between the people. Okay. So let us see what are the various active listening skills which we can adopt in order to enhance our speaking abilities. First one is pay attention. Like one should pay attention like Lord Ganesha when he is writing Mahabharata, when Vyas Maharshi is dictating the words. So pay attention. So Lord Ganesha doesn't utter and he doesn't request for the repetition of the word. At a single attempt of listening, he is able to inscribe the entire Mahabharata. So in that way, one has to develop his communication skills or listening skills. Like you can take an example of a dog. Dog is a faithful animal. A slightest movement of our footsteps may awake the dog in our house or in the locality. A slightest movement of the step. It means that how careful or how attentive the dog's ears works. So one has to pay attention towards the listening. And next one, withhold your judgment. So when you listen, one should not react immediately. Hold your judgment. So when someone speaks and when you listen while understanding. At the same time, you have to listen and understand, analyze, and give your opinion. One should not go for immediate conclusion. An immediate conclusion always hurts, always brings distractions, or it occurs the cracks, errors in everyone's life. That's why withhold judgment. So never give an immediate judgment, never respond immediately. Listen, understand, and analyze. Either it may be question in the interview, or either it may be some points which your parents or teachers wants to share with you. And next one is, after withholding the judgment, reflect. So in order to reflect, look at that picture where the brain functions. So means here you have to analyze whatever you have listened, you have to analyze, and then you have to reflect your opinion or your judgment. Like here, the reflection and withholding judgment, pay attention. It always takes an active role, or we can see in the respective courts where judge and lawyers, they fight, okay, with each other in order to prove themselves right. So, but here the judge always sit quietly and he listens with his 2 ears, and at the end of the argument from both the parties, he gives the judgment. How it is possible to give the judgment, how he reflects, how his judgment reflects based upon his attention, his attentive listening skills, and he makes the note of both the parties, okay, and how both the parties defend each other in order to save the lives of their candidates. So what happens here, at the end of the argument, the judge gives his reflection. That reflection is called as judgment. And the judge does not interfere in between the arguments which takes place between the two parties, because he listens, where he adopts the listening skills. So unless he adopts the listening skills, and if he is very curious and is very anxious, and if he jumps into the conversation of the judges while arguing, it could not be possible to give the good judgment. And when you give the judgment, your reflection should be clear, clarified. With examples, you should give the clarity. You should be clear with your judgments and summarize it. And after that, you share with the others. Whatever you listen attentively, hold your judgment, your thoughts, your opinions, and your expressions. Reflect in a clear way so that you can summarize it in a better way and you can share with the others. Like for this, we can take an example of a movie when the viewers, like the fans of the various heroes, we watch the movie, and after watching the movie, we share the story with the others. So what happens here? We summarize it with a clear way so that the listener could able to understand what is the theme of the story, and the story will be shared with the others in an effective way, and no doubts will be raised by the listeners on the movie or the story which has been shared by his friend. Now, how could a listener can prove himself that he is an active listener? So for that, one has to adopt the active listening skills. So what are that active listening skills? Always ask open-ended questions. When you're listening to the speech, when you're listening to your lectures in the classrooms, when you're taking part in the seminars, workshops, conferences, how could you prove yourself that you have the active listening skills? And one more thing, that it is not necessary every time that you should prove that you are an active listener, but you have to prove yourself, because at the end of the conference and the seminars and the workshops, you have to recapitulate yourself what the seminar and the conference has been taken place. So for that, it is very, very important that you should ask some questions to your lecturers and to anyone. And that the questions should clear your clarifications, should clear your doubts. Okay, the question should ask for the clarifications, not to create any disturbance to the listener and the speaker. And always be attentive. Your positions, your body language, your expressions, your postures, your gestures will tell you that how attentive you are. And summarizing is also very, very important, and paraphrasing, reflecting your feelings. Like we know very well that face is the index of mind. So here, our face tells that whether we are an active listener or a passive listener. At the same time, one should be tuned to the feelings of the speaker and always try to go for the questions, probing the questions, ask probing the questions. Means here inquire, means here you got a beautiful opportunity, a marvelous opportunity to interface with the speaker, with your lecturer, okay, in the classroom. So that a kind of questions, a number of questions should be asked so that you should not leave the classroom with any kind of doubt. So here these skills help us to make us an active listener. So look at that, the various pictures, it tells that be an active listener. How could you be an active listener? A proper eye contact, it comes under the part of body language. A proper maintaining eye-to-eye contact, it tells that you are a good listener. And face the speaker, always try to face the speaker. This we have taken an example when someone asks the students sometimes mostly in the English classes, and most of the lecturers also adopt that, please introduce yourself or come forward, tomorrow you have to do the presentations on the particular topic, and see that how many students will take part. Face the speaker, it means here, face the situation. It is very, very important. And always nod your head. When you are listening, always nod your head. It tells that we are an active listener. It also tells that we are not a dead people. Okay, the communication does not take place with the dead people. Always nod, move your head from right to left or up and down to express your agree and disagree. Okay, and the next one, it says that wait for the speaker to stop before speaking. Don't jump immediately in between the expressions of the speaker. Let him complete. Give him enough time to complete his speech or his lecture or his question. Sometimes what happens here, this can be adopted at the time of interview. So what happens when we take part in the interview and the questions will be asked? So if the question is very easy, we are very curious to give the answer before the completion of the question. Sometimes this example has been also experienced in the Kaun Banega Crorepati and some of the quiz programs, live quiz programs, where you have seen the participants immediately respond the answer of the question. They don't listen the question completely because the few words of the question reflects that they know the answer. And sometimes it goes right and sometimes they commit mistake and they lose the marks. And this we have seen in the quiz programs also. And that's why here the quiz program, the host says that please try to listen the question until the end, and then only you respond, you press the buzzer. So it means that jumping in between the discussion or speaking always injurious to our health. And keep hands and feet still, our body language. It tells that keep hands and feet still. So here, proper posture of our sitting positions, our gestures are very, very important while listening. Leaning forward, leaning backward, and swinging on the chairs, and a crouch sitting. So all these are not the good sign of a best active listener. So all these leads to the passiveness and it brings the drowsiness to the listeners, and it leads to them to sleep in between the lecture. And it could not be adopted at the time of interview. So means why it is important, unless you practice from the initial stage, it could not be possible to get the success. Because in interview, we get very less opportunity, we get very few opportunities to get the job, to get the employment. So once you get an employment opportunity, once you get an employment call from the companies, it means that you are very, very fortunate among lakhs of people who have applied for the job, and the company has chosen a handful of candidates. So it is an opportunity to you to express yourself in the best manner by adopting the good listening, speaking, reading, and writing, which is also called as the combination of communication skills. Because if you have lost the job, if you have failed in the interview and you are the next person next to you has got an opportunity to appoint in the company, it is your fault because you failed and you gave an opportunity to your next candidate. So when you get an opportunity to face the interview, one should face it and effectively. So always ask the questions and always try to understand what the speaker says. It means here that all these principles, all these points are also applicable at the time of employment. Okay, and always ignore the distractions. Okay, our society, our friends, our relatives, our well-wishers always try to create a distractions, or they lay the way of and they lay the path of distractions in our life. So here a mere concentration on our future and mere concentration and controlling of our mind, in that way you can ignore the distractions, you can avoid the distractions. So by adopting these skills, one can become a active listener. And here, when you come to the part of listener, there are different types of listeners. One is called as active listener, other one is called as critical listener, empathetic listener, results-oriented listener, and expansive listeners. And along with that, we have to adopt a good behavior also. If it is an active listener, then you should say what I think you are telling me. So what you are saying is, in that way, you have to raise your questions yourself. And if it is a critical listening skills, then how many were there? How would these go together? What would the impact be? And you can also ask the open-ended questions when you want to be an empathetic listening, like without judgment. Tell me more about that. How was that for you? And that sounds upsetting. In that way, these are the different types of listeners which we come across in and around in our society. So look at that here, the listeners are classified into four. One is called as detached listeners, other one is called as passive listeners, and the third one is called as involved listeners, and the fourth one is called as active listeners. So what are detached listeners? The word itself says that there is no attachment, there is no common attachment between the listener and the speaker. So here the listeners always try to escape from the eye contact. He always try to escape, he always try to hide himself from the view of a speaker, and you cannot see any kind of enthusiasm. He always be inattentive, and he always be disinterested, and he bored, and at the same time he always, a detached listener, always try to disturb the class. And the other type of listeners are that they try to make they pretend that they are making an eye contact, and they pose that their body language tells that they are listening. But what we can say here, body present and mind absent, a fake attention in his body language, and very little energy and very little effort where we can see from his point of view. And he always tried to be calm, cool, and try to escape from the situation so that a speaker could not be able to find out him or recognize him. And third type of listener is involved. See, means every here, not only as it is not the part of the lecture, it is not the part of literature, the types of listeners. One has to inculcate the skills in order to become a good listener. So here the variations and the differences among these type of listeners will always tell us that, and these types of listeners will also give us an opportunity to introspect ourselves. What kind of listener am I? Am I a detached listener? Am I a passive listener? Am I an involved listener? Am I an active listener? How to identify that I am a detached listener? Some examples are given to you. How could I identify that I am a passive listener? Some points are given to you. How could you identify that you are an involved listener? So some examples are given to you. How could you identify that I am an active listener? Some points are given to us. So here, this theory helps us to introspect ourselves, to check, it is a checklist, so that it helps us to identify what kind of listener am I. So it helps us to identify the strengths and weakness of a candidate. So based upon these parameters, based upon these checklists, one can brush up his communication skills in that listening and speaking. And look at that, what he says, whole body listening. Here, we can say body emits signals. Body emits signals, so that by that signals, one can decode the signals and identify what is going on in the mindset, what is going on in the mind of others. So that's why here, not to identify what is going on in the other's mind, these signals will help us, because body always emits signals, and one has to decode these signals for the better understanding. Like listen with yours. Ears, it means the widen ears, a broad eyes, widen eyes. It tells that you are listening carefully. And listen with your mouth. It means your smile. A smile on your face. It helps us to identify the speaker that you are listening. Listen with your feet means while listening, one should not play with his feet, means tapping on the ground. One should not tap his foot. One should not tap his feet on the ground because it distracts the attention of the speaker and it creates some disturbance with the listeners. And listen with ears, attentive listening, your hands, your body language, your brain, and your heart. So all these are some of the body parts which tells us that I am a good listener. And what are the benefits of the active listening? So here some of the benefits are given to you. You can hear the words, you can understand the words, you can analyze the words, and you can respond. When you listen properly, you can avoid misunderstandings. You can get the clarity over the misunderstandings which has been raised in our mind. And a proper listening builds a good trust. Like you can take the example of the Ukraine president's statement. Yesterday or day before yesterday, he gave a statement that Putin will listen India's Prime Minister's word, Narendra Modi. It means here, think that why he has used the statement, in what context the Ukraine president says that Putin will listen Narendra Modi. Imagine that. It means that build a trust. There was a trust taken place between Narendra Modi and Putin, the presidents and the prime minister of both the countries. And imagine that how much time it has taken place in order to construct the trust between the two countries. And you can also have seen the newspapers and even watch the news channels also. He does not use the word that American president should interfere in the war and speak with Russian prime minister. See, what he has said that Mr. Putin will listen the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi. It means that there is no misunderstandings between Putin and Narendra Modi ji. There is a lot of trust has been taken place, means both the leaders have built the trust. How the trust has been constructed? Based on communication skills. Why the Ukrainian president asked our prime minister to intervene and try to stop this war? Why he asked to request Mr. Putin to stop the war? Because they have proper understanding. And how this understanding has been taken place? By building a good rapport between the listener and the speaker, between the people. And here you can get the more information in order to persuade, influence, and negotiate. So these three are the good examples you can take about Narendra Modi ji. Whenever he visits the other nations, he always tries to persuade, he always tries to influence, and he always tries to negotiate with the leaders of the various nations. And he tries to build up a good communication. He tries to build up our nation is strong in the world. Okay, and how could it be possible? Because of communication skills, because of developing or building up a good rapport with the other people, either it is a nation, in between the nation, or between the people. And why should we need a good listening skills? Because when you adopt the good listening skills, you can work more and you can ask more number of people to work more. Because listen carefully, which allows you to better understand in order to solve the assignments which has been expected by you. You can build up a good rapport with your co-workers, with the boss, and with the clients. Not only with the co-workers, not only with the boss, not only with the clients. You can build a good rapport with your parents. You can build a good rapport with your lecturers, with the faculty members. You can build a good rapport with our friends. So that making a habit of building a good rapport always help us to win the hearts of others. And your words, your communication skills always give a huge support to you. Even sometimes our friends, our well-wishers, and our well-beings may lose us. May they deceive us, but a good communication skills, will always give a support to us in order to build up a good team-based environment, and you can solve all the problems which has been occurred due to the customers or among the co-workers or the bosses or the problems occurred in the family. Okay, so why the nations, why the developed countries are asking the Russian government for the communication, for the discussion, and he always says that the Russian Prime Minister always says that he is ready for the further discussions, he is ready for the bilateral talk. Because here words, the vocabulary has the power to heal the wounds. Vocabulary has the power to convince the people. Vocabulary has the power to influence the people. And your words have the power to convince others. So that the words, vocabulary, the speech makes us to love by others. You will be loved, people will be loved by the way you speak. If you use the harsh language, abused words, and unparliamentary language, people will not love. People does not show any respect, any love towards you. People pay respect and love towards you when you adopt a good vocabulary, when you adopt good speaking skills, when you adopt good listening skills. Why people die to listen the great speakers? Either till now, you can play the Subhash Chandra Bose. He provoked, he encouraged, he motivated the people, and he said that "Tum mujhe khoon do, main tumhe azadi dunga." Okay, give me your blood, I will give you independence. I will give you freedom. Look at the words, the powerful words. Okay, live and let live. The powerful words. Okay, so either the Winston Churchill or some other Swami Vivekananda, arise, awake, and stop till not the goal is achieved. So the words which has been said some decades ago, still it clings in our mind, it clings in our ears. So those are called as the powerful words. The powerful words can change the society, can change the world. So means here the vocabulary, the listening skills, the speaking skills, the communication, they tried, all the great leaders tried to convince, tried to communicate with the society. So come to the next part, developing communication through writing. Here, how can you develop through writing? The one example we have taken, that is bathroom commode and Baptist church. Here, one should be clear while writing or sending messages to the others. The communication through writing can be done while writing the letters, putting down your pen on the letters, or by sending messages, WhatsApp, emails, or all the others. In that way, you can communicate with the others. So what is the writing skill? It is one of the important part of communication. Like as we say, the speaking and listening, writing is also an important part of the communication. And it is very, very important among students and the faculty members and all the resource persons, whoever teaches the various skills to the students. And good writing skills always allow us to communicate the message in an effective way. And here, because the words, when you read the words, you will love the words. And it is one of the easiest way to express our views with the others. And why it is more important to adopt these skills? Because it helps us to work effectively in the common workplace in order to communicate with the others. It also provides an ample opportunity to perform in the job, and we can evaluate ourselves in a good way of communicating with the others. And many research and many studies have been conducted on the writing skills, and always it has reflected that a good writing skills or effective writing communication skills will make the company or the organization or the industry in an effective way. And look at that. Yeah, why writing is important? Because it will help us to develop ourselves. Based upon our writing skills, a person can be judged. And it is one of the important part of communication. And it is also important part of the job skills, because every day when we become the part of the job, when you are working, so we have to send the mails, we have to respond the mails, we have to communicate with the others by adopting various writing skills methods. by sending messages, SMS, WhatsApp, Telegram, and emails, and dropping the letters. So it connects the people, the organization, and the industries where you are trying to communicate with the others. And here, through writing, you can express yourself. You can express your views. Like there are so many writers, poets, who put their ideas, which occurs in your mind on the papers, like Guljar, like a famous poet, lyricist, and good poets are there, Kabir Das, Tulsidas in our history. Okay, and there are good poets, Harivansh Rai Bachchan. Still, we remember his epic poem that is Madhushala. Okay, like that, there are so many poets, so many writers, Premchand, Munshi Premchand, Rabindranath Tagore, where the mind is without fear. Okay, so on the Nightingale of India, Sarojini Naidu, who are the good writers. And nowadays we can take up the Chetan Bhagat and Amish Tripathi, who has produced the what we can say the different the scions of Rama and anthologies and all these things. The great writers, okay, Mulkraj Anand, Rabindranath Tagore, and all these are the great writers, okay, who has influenced the society. Or Shashi Tharoor, Girish Karnad, okay, Raja Rao. So all these are the famous writers, William Shakespeare, Yeats and Keats, Wordsworth. All these are the famous writers who has influenced the society. So with their writings, with their words, with their plays, with their dramas, poems, and all these things. That's why here writing is an important part in the communication. And when can one say that it's a good writing? When without errors, a correct spelling, clear punctuations, correct grammar, use of correct connectors, a good usage of vocabulary, variety of sentences, divide the text into paragraphs, creating an awareness, purpose towards the audience, a proper organization, coherence, and cohesion. And still we are very well aware that many of the words which are created by Shakespeare are still in our use, in our day-to-day use. So what he says, the range of vocabulary, his range of vocabulary. So what are the words he has invented? What are the words he has discovered? Still we are using in our language because he has influenced the society by by adopting good writing skills. And what are some of the elements of the quality writing? Like ideas, organization, your voice, your word choice, your sentence fluency, conventions, and your presentations. And these are some of the basic elements which you have to keep in mind whenever you write. So these principles, these elements are also reflects when you write your answers. When you write an essay, when you take part in the essay writing competitions, when you write the answers for the regular examinations, or when you write an essay in the competitive examinations, all these elements will help us. And these elements will also help us when you want to communicate with the others at your workplace. And what are the different types of writing? One should adopt the narration, persuasion, description, and exposition. So these are the different types of writing now and then we adopt in our day-to-day activity. And how you can improve your writing skills? Read and dissect diverse materials. Always write to gain confidence. Write, rewrite, read, reread, and edit. And initiate writers and imitate writers you admire. Follow their footsteps. What kind of technology or methodology they're adopting to write. And always be realistic with your expectations. And nowadays there are so many apps and platforms are there which help you to become a good writer. See, these are some of the apps, okay, so which help us to improve our writing, okay, and writing can be developed in the means of maintaining diary, okay. For that you can read Diary of Annie Frank, a beautiful diary, autobiography, Diary of Annie Frank. So it tells her anguish, her agony when she was in the war interventions. So he wrote his experiences, okay. So here it tells that how it helps us that how writing can be developed with the help of the new technology. In the past, we maintained the diaries. Every year we purchase the diaries and we write our day-to-day activities. But now the various apps has been available with the development of technology. So these apps will help us to improve our writing skills. The last one, develop communication through reading. How you can develop your reading skills. And what is reading skills? It is the receptive of the written word. When you receive any written part, we will read it, okay, with the literate edition. And it also helps us to build vocabulary, listening, comprehension at later stages, particularly in all the areas. And why it is important to adopt a reading? Because it is a fundamental function in today's society. You have to read. Unless you read, it is not possible to go a step ahead. If you are on the road, you have to read the road signals. You have to follow the road signals. Okay, if you are in the class, if you want to be promoted to the next class, you should read. And reading is a vital skill in finding a good job, looking into the advertisements, understanding the advertisements, analyzing the advertisements. Unless you read in a proper way, in an effective way, it is not possible to understand and analyze, and you could not respond. And reading always develops the mind. Because in the past, we know it is a good habit to read before going to bed. At least one should read a page of a book before going to bed. It suits our mind to have a good and sound sleep. When you read the books, you can discover the new things. People always suggest us to read the autobiographies of the great people. When you read the autobiography of great personalities, you can discover. When you read the autobiography of our ex-president, the late president, Sri Abdul Kalam ji, The Wings of Fire, when you read it, you will come to know his struggle. You will discover how he has faced the struggles and tribulations from the southernmost point of our nation, and he reached the highest position of the nation, and he became the president. So you will come to know when you read the autobiographies. When you read the autobiography of Abdul Kalam, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, or Vivekananda, you will come to know the problems, difficulties, and tribulations, what they have faced in their life. And reading always develops the imagination. When you read the novel, so here you can, means what happens here, you can read the novels, books, magazines, journals. It takes you beyond the imagination. And the reading takes us and it lands us in the new universe. You will be landed on the new planet in the new universe. That is the importance of reading. When you read, one will be involved in that. Like you can take the example of J.K. Rowling's. Okay, J.K. Rowling's novels. Later it has been adopted into the movies. Okay, so how the novels have been impacted in the society, and the Hollywood has taken into the movies. And many novels in India, okay, have been taken place in the movies. Okay, like you can say the Satyajit Ray's and a famous Bengali novel. I failed to remember at this point. Okay, Devdas. It was a novel, and it has been beautifully carved into a movie. Okay, Godan of Premchand. It has been carved into a movie. So here the writing and the reading plays an important role in the society, which motivates the people. It develops the creative side of the people. It develops the good self-image. And why should we read? When you read, you can increase your mental stimulation. It also nurtures your empathy. It discovers the new world. You can enrich your imagination. It enriches your vocabulary. You can develop the reading skills. It brings the relaxation to the mind. It reduces the stress and entertains. You can analyze. You can develop your analytical skills. You can develop the concentration and memory. And these are the habits. And look at some of the elements of reading. Okay, so comprehension, fluency, morphology, word recognition, decoding, letter sound relations, phonological awareness, language, vocabulary, background knowledge, comprehension, all this recycling process. And these are the elements of reading. And we know the different types of reading skills, adopting the intensive reading, extensive reading, receptive reading, skimming, and scanning. These skills will help us in order to crack the employment opportunities. Okay, and how one can improve the reading skills. Okay, so it is in order to improve the reading skills, one has to depend on reading and always inculcate the habit of reading. Always evaluate your reading habits and always try to provide the best conditions of reading and use your eyes efficiently. Okay, reading will help us to improve your vocabulary, or you can carry a dictionary or your mobile phone, where you can find out the meanings of the words. Okay, that's why here nowadays, in the past also, our mentors, our faculties have always insisted us, forced us to read the newspapers, okay, the English newspapers, so that we can improve our reading abilities, speaking abilities, vocabulary, and all the four skills. And do not vocalize the words, don't e-read the words, and don't and always try to improve reading speed practice every day, so that it will help you to improve your reading abilities. So nowadays here the technology has been developed, and several apps have been also developed, so which help us our reading abilities. And nowadays what happens here, if you are unable to read, we have the audio books also, Kindle books. Okay, and these audio books will help us, just plug into your ears, and these audio books will help you to read, to listen what is going on the screen. So here you can take the assistance of technology nowadays in order to increase our communication skills. And in all these communication skills, sometimes we come across the various barriers which we have to overcome. Either it is organizational barriers or individual barriers, semantic barriers, or other barriers. Okay, so all these are the psychological barriers, mental barriers, so which always prevent us to become a good communicator. So that's why here, whenever you try to overcome these barriers, means one has to shut us, one has to come out of the yeah. So here, these are the barriers which holds us to come forward. So what we have been experienced, that people say, the students say that I'm shy, I'm afraid, stage fear, hesitation, I cannot speak, I cannot come forward, I have not prepared well. So these kind of several words may come across in the class, because these are the barriers which holds us to become a good communicator. Unless you overcome these barriers, it is not possible to acquire a good communication skills, or you could not become a good listener, speaker, reader, and a good writer. So that's why here it is very, very important to come out of these barriers. And how to come these barriers effectively? So clarify your ideas before communication, know your purpose of communication, understand the physical and human environments of communication, always consult and plan before going to communicate, understand the content and overtone of communication, understand the value of communication to the receiver, always take or follow up the action, always try to understand the importance of communication, always take actions, and always be a good listener. So when you adopt all these 10 effective techniques, so that you can easily overcome the barriers and you will become a good communicator. So what happens when you acquire a good communicator, good communication skills? Then the good communication skills propels and thrust you to land on your dream job, because you will have the long-term potentiality than others. You will be able to work well than others. You can make more money. Like you can take the examples of the real estate business people, real estate people, or life insurance, LIC agents, or the businessman. How do they communicate with others in order to reach their goal? So when you inculcate the good communication skills, you can build up your effective resume, which help us to get the opportunity. You can make an good work experience, relevant work experience, and you can able to create or develop problem solving skills, and you could be strong online presence, and the world is open for you. When the doors of the world will be open for you, when the gates of the world will be open for you, when you are at good communication skills. So it is very, very important that one should adopt the right type of communication skills at the right time. Adopting the right communication skills at the right time will help us to get the success in everyone's life. So hope that you have understood the importance of communication skills. And by this slide, I would like to express my thanks to the organizers for giving me an opportunity to share my views on the communication skills which help us to step into the employment world. So I would like to end up here my presentation. And I'm sorry for taking consuming a lot of time, nearly 1.5 hours of the listeners, and also thanks to the listeners who patiently accepted my words.
Thank you a lot, sir, for your knowledge and time. We were
Thank you, Drumi.
we were really happy to be a part of your workshop. And it is truly said by you that speech is a powerful weapon and words can also heal people if used correctly. Through your examples and beautifully centered presentation, I am sure everyone present here has taken a note of how communication is and has been important throughout our history. You have helped us in understanding that communication skills are important in every area of life, and even more so in our careers. I am sure that all of us have derived great lessons today, which will help us become better individuals in future, and hence we will contribute a lot to our nation too. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhruvi, for concluding the session in a nutshell.
We are really thankful for your time, sir. It was a really privileged session. Now I would like to call upon Riya Ved to conduct the session forward.
Thank you, Drumi. It is truly said by Catherine Pulsifer that for a successful life, communication is one of the most important skills you require. The way you have put forth this section was so informative and useful that I can assure you for it will be helpful to everyone, and that one would definitely offer skills and tips you have shared with us. Before we begin with the feedback, I would like the teachers and participants to ask their queries to our guest speaker. I would request you all to raise your hand, and when I will call out your name, you may share your name, college and state from which you are, and your designation, whether you are a professor or a student, and accordingly, you must use your mic or chat box to speak. Same goes for the YouTube streaming. You may go ahead if you have any sort of queries, you can ask Satish sir.
I think that message was very much clear and loud.
Am I audible now?
Yes, it is audible. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you are.
I think the message was very clear and loud to everyone, and I hope that there is no doubt left to anyone to ask.
Yes, for queries. If anyone has queries, they can put
yes.
in chat box or
Yes,
directly use their mic.
Yes, welcome.
Okay, so sir, there is a question like if you are able to send them PPTs on a given email ID, it will be really helpful because this PPT like presentation on the whole was really informative and helpful. So yeah.
Okay, so I think sir will, Sutar sir, I will be in contact with Sutar sir. So get the mail ID, then I will show it. It will be a very pleasure to me, and it will be a very pleasure to me to share my PPT with you, sir, and I will share you shortly.
Yes, sure, sir. Because sir, we became the fan of your PPT. That is all inclusive.
Yes,
thank you, Sunil sir.
Sir, your PPT for important to teach business communication for FY become students, because your PPT and Mumbai University syllabus both are the same, and
Oh,
it is useful for all Mumbai University assistant and associate professor. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. It's what we can say. It may be fortunate or unfortunate that my presentation has been interrelated with your syllabus.
Sir, there is a person who wants to ask a question. Sharath, sir. Sir, you may go ahead and ask him a question.
Yeah. Good evening, sir, Venkat Satish, sir, and your presentation was beautiful and it was so informative. One thing I would like to know is that how far this language skills related to India, in our country, these communication skills can help us in teaching English to the multilingual countries.
Yes, sir. So we can say it's most of the students in our country are from the vernacular background. And mostly we face a lot of problem in the rural areas and the semi-urban areas where the students are not able to expose themselves to the language skills. See, even after the independence, and one thing I want to quote here, English is not a new language to us. English has been taught to us from A for apple, and all of us have been familiar with this language. We have learned from this right from our Akshabhyasam. Okay, A for apple, B for boy, and English has been introduced in the 10 years of high school education. English has been learned in 2 years of junior college. English has been a part of our life in 3 years of degree college. So 10 plus 2 plus 3, 15 years. We are exposed with the language. But here the problem is expression. What I said that we can say that there are unseen boundaries or there is some unseen energy which tries to hold the speaker to come out of the chamber. It is not a physical barrier. It is not someone is holding you to come back. We have developed the barrier in ourselves, and that is called as a psychological barriers. Once you break that barriers, once you bomb down the barriers, then the barriers will be shattered and the doors will be open to us. So it is our duty, it is everyone's duty to learn the communication skills. See, at least if not in English, at least he should be able to express himself in his mother tongue. We speak from sunrise to sunset, we speak, we share. But when someone asks to speak, there we fail even in our mother tongue also. When someone you ask you to come and give a speech in your mother tongue, we fail. But we speak a lot of from sunrise to sunset. So because here the inherent barriers which has been inculcated right from the beginning, we never give an opportunity to the students or someone to express his views. If he is deviated from our mindset, immediately we ask him, shut down, keep quiet, sit down. So he will not be encouraged. So here it is, encouragement is very, very important to everyone. And one more thing is here, what I think that environment and environment where the person has been born and brought up. Like if you want to, you can take an example. If you want to lead a happy life, or if you want to live, then you need to swim. If you are thrown into the water, and if you want to live, you need to swim. Means here there is no teacher or lecturer who teaches you to swim in the ocean. You will move your hands left and right, legs and everything, and because you want to live some more days, and you try to reach the shore. So in the same way, so one has to strive hard to come out of his background. So here the surroundings, environment where the person has been born and brought up also plays a major role in order to develop his communication skills. So one has to shatter the unseen boundaries. Thank you, Sharath sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that explanation, because I worked as a corporate language trainer and I'm working as a corporate language trainer in the Middle East countries. So
oh, nice, sir. Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah. And it proves to be a challenging task in teaching those locals this English language of our communication skills, unless and until we learn the language, their language.
Yes, sir.
Because that is the grasping power. They don't have much grasping power. They are at very low levels. So getting into their levels and teaching them that communication skills, it's very important that I have to learn their language and teach English in their language.
Yes, sir, truly.
That is how I could see some sort of improvement in the students. I think that in Indian communication skills, well, everyone is aware of it, but there are countries where people don't know these communication skills, and it is a challenging task. Anyway, thank you very much for that beautiful explanation, sir. I'm happy with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sharik sir.
Sir, there is one more participant with us, Koteshwar Rao Komagiri sir, who wants to ask his question. Sir, you may go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Namaste, Koteshwar sir. Namaste.
Dr. Satish sir, so happy to see and hear your voice after a long time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, thank you. And just I have one doubt as a soft skills trainer. I think I am very privileged to participate in this session. And I have a doubt, sir. Last week I taught about the communication and importance of communication, the process of communication. In that session, I gave the structure like a sender, message, and a receiver. So in this process, shall we use the 4 stages, whatever you said, LSRW skills, in that structure as well?
Yes, sir. See, in order to the sender, the message which takes place between sender and the receiver, it always depends upon the 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
Yeah.
You can transfer the message by adopting any of the skill. You can pass on the information by writing it on piece of paper. You can pass it on. You can send a message, SMS, WhatsApp. You can use all these things. You can send a mail. With the help of non-body language, with the help of non-verbal communication, like symbols and sign language, you can use to communicate with the others. You can send a message. Like in the past and olden days, they use the fire, sound, dole, damru, everything in order to communicate with the others by claps and all that. So here, it depends upon us what type of skill do one has to adopt in order to send the message to the others. And it is very important that there should be a common thing between the sender and receiver. Unless there is a commonality between sender and the receiver, the communication never be a successful. When could you say the communication is success? When the receiver able to decode your message. If the receiver fails to decode your message, you cannot say that your communication is successful. So in that case, the message, what it goes in the form of sound waves, like the sound travels in the form of ups and downs in the wave. So here one has to decode your intention. Unless he decodes his intention, it could not be possible to send a good message to the others. Thank you, Koteshwar, also for your valuable question. So that hope that my point of presentation may help you to reach your purpose.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Just I would like to say big thank and remember our memories when I was working with you in that IIIT. That time you were as head of the department, and I missed it actually. But it's my effort. It's my it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for having a colleague to you, and you are well experienced soft skill trainer in abroad. I know well about your experience and your services, which you have rendered in and around the world. And you have visited a number of countries, and where you have given a lot of lectures about the soft skills and communication skills. And it is my pleasure to have to see you as a participant, and it makes this session very fruitful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Now for the feedback, I would request you all to raise your hand names will be called out, and accordingly, you will be allowed to share your feedbacks. Till then, I would want you all to keep an eye on the chat box which goes for Zoom and as well as YouTube, since the link for the feedback form will be shared in a few over there.
Riya, before that, I would just like to call Dr. Bala Saheb Yadav from ICS College Khed to say a few words on behalf of the conveners of this national webinar.
Thank you, ma'am, by giving me a chance to present my views on this webinar. On the behalf of Nathu College, Chiplun, ICS College Khed, and Bhavan College, Mumbai, I would like to express my views regarding this webinar. Dr. Satish sir has presented his ideas regarding the business communication is very excellent. Sir's language is very simple. Words are very simple. Phrases are very simple. I appreciated the sir's words, phrases, and language, because suppose when professor deliver lecture in the class and professor applied the language used by Satish sir, it will be useful for the students. Communication is a process by which information is transmitted between individual and the organization so that understanding response result. So here we find that sir's lectures, what is this? All the participants respond to the lectures, respond. After that, we understand fully lecture of the sirs. Sirs have covered all the topic, concept of communication, objective of communication, listening skill, barriers to communication, and writing skill. If we want to develop our language, sir said that we should read the Times of India. Suppose a daily students read the Times of India, I hope that they can enhance their knowledge. I would like to share the one thing, what is the communication? Our communication is just like a children. When children communicate with the father, mother, and the society, a children's communication is just like a line on the waters. It means that the water coming together, there is no problem of the communication. Our communication is just like a children, which will develop our skills. Then next, when a child become a younger, his communication is just like a line on the sand. But also this is a good communication. There is no problem. Sand can come together. But also when man's communication is just like a white line on the stone, it cannot come together. So our communication is just like a child's communication, which will alike to all the peoples. All the time, when we start our communication, we send the positive message to the receiver. And when we send the positive message to the receiver, automatically we get a feedback, a positive message. So, sir's lecture is very excellent. Give the example of give the example of politicians, Narendra Modi's communication. Then after that, Swami Vivekananda. Then Sri Ravi Shankar's. I think so. Sir impressed about the spiritual philosophy. His face is smiling due to spiritual philosophy. If your body is fit, your mind is fit, your soul is pure, then your communication is good. Sir, your communication, your lecture, like not only professor, but also student. Thank you. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So I would like to call upon Mr. Mohammad Ehtashmul Islam Khan for giving his feedback on this session. Sir, you may go ahead. All right. I would like to call upon Dr. Vathula Srihari Rao for giving his feedback on this session. Sir.
Yes, good evening, all of you, especially the speaker. I'm actually in car traveling.
Good evening, sir.
And there may be signals I'm cutting here and there, but of course, I really enjoy this. I'm speaking from Vijayawada, the state of Andhra Pradesh.
Oh,
I'm in travel now.
Near to Vijayawada.
Oh, nice, sir. And where are you from? Which part of?
I am at a Noseville.
Okay, I'm right now working at NRI Institute of Technology, Agri as a professor in English.
I think you're on Noseville Triple IT.
No, it's NRIT.
Yes,
Agri.
it is near to Agri. Yes.
Exactly.
From there, it is. I think it is half an hour journey.
Yes, sir. Most of your presentation was part of almost the soft skills, sir, which we train students, and especially speaking skills you have mentioned, the listening skills you have mentioned, a few communication part, which actually makes the point that you mentioned is when the listener understands the motive of the speaker, there's a communication skills. That point is absolutely correct, sir. And of course, your presentations are really good. I enjoyed listening to continuously. Of course, there was little here and there. There was a kind of signal missing there, but of course, it was really good. Thank you for giving a chance to speak to you even now. It's a kind of organization. I thank all organizers. I would like to have it more from your side in future, if possible.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I will extend my cooperation with you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for your polite gestures you have shown over here for this session. Now for the final vote of thanks, may I request Dr. Sunil Gondhari, Assistant Professor in Bhavans College, Mumbai, to share his opinions and conclude the event thereafter. Sir?
Yes, thank you, Ria. Now I'm completely overwhelmed because of excellent session delivered by Dr. K. Venkat Satish, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir, because you accepted our invitation. I'm proposing vote of thanks on behalf of all the 3 colleges who came together to have your session for teaching student fraternity. And definitely, sir, the topic that is that we receive from your choice list, that is amazing, simple, but most important topic nowadays. It is at the heart of everything. Whatever subjects we learn, we teach, communication skill is at the heart of everything. So, sir, Dr. K. Venkat Satish, sir, I'm very much thankful to you on behalf of all the 3 colleges, Bhavans College Autonomous, Mumbai, Dr. Tatya Saheb Nathu College, Chiplun, and ICS College, Khed. Very much thankful. And definitely, sir, now I just wish to state on record what to say about your PPT. That is creative, all-inclusive, and I can know, I can easily tell the participant what kind of effort is taken by you to prepare this particular PPT. So your PPT and your energy, your sustained flow of information throughout the session started by 2:45, and still you are continuously speaking in the same tone with same energy. Salute to you, sir. And even a flow of information that was amazing. And definitely, sir, you are the treasury of lots of examples, appropriate examples that you gave to support your information. So thank you very much, sir, on behalf of all the 3 colleges and organizing committee. I am very much thankful to you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, with your kind permission, I would like to say a few words.
Yes, definitely, sir.
On this occasion, by conducting this seminar or webinar with the good coordination of all the 3 colleges, and here with your kind permission, I would like to say, first of all, I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. S.S. Kanadeji, who has introduced and referred my name to Sutar sir. And just in the morning, I had a conversation with Kanade sir. And I expressed my gratitude to him that by referring my name to Sutar sir, and he has disclosed his close relationship with Sutar sir in the various events and training programs where they met, and that relation has been developed. And I am also in association with Kanade sir since more than a decade, and in all the aspects. So I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Kanade sir on this occasion with your kind permission. Thank you, sir.
Yes, definitely, sir, because Kanade sir is also a kind of important person for us. Because of him, we came to know about you. So very much thankful to Kanade sir too.
Thank you, sir.
By the time I request organizing committee member to share the link of feedback form. After filling this form, e-certificate will be delivered by all the participants on their registered email ID that they will enter into the feedback form. While filling the form, just add what kind of salutation you require. Okay, so yes, committee member, please share the link. Now I'm also thankful to all the three principals, Dr. Zarin Batena, Madam from Bhavans College, Mumbai, Dr. Gopinath Sarang sir, ICS College, Khed, Dr. Vijay Kumar Khote sir from Dr. Tatya Saheb Nathu College. So these three principals were supporting at every time to conduct this particular webinar. I'm also thankful to heads of all three colleges, heads of English departments, Dr. H.L. Narayan Rao sir, Bhavans College, Mumbai, Mrs. Mrinalini Jeurkar, ICS College, Khed, and Dr. Vijay Kumar Khote sir from Dr. Tatya Saheb Nathu College. Thankful to conveners of this particular webinar from three colleges, Dr. Suresh Suta sir and Srimati Prajakta Shinde madam from Nathu College, Dr. Balasaheb Yadav sir from ICS Khed College, and Dr. C.B. Patil sir from Bhavans College, Mumbai. I should not forget our technical support that is given by Mr. Rahul Barsat and Miss Rakhi Ogle madam from Bhavans College, Mumbai to conduct this particular webinar smoothly on Zoom and also live streaming on YouTube. So thankful to both of these my colleagues. And definitely organizing committee members, sir, I wish to state on record that Dhrumi Singh was anchoring and Ria Ved, both are from second year arts SYBA students. So they did their job excellently. So thankful to Dhrumi Singh and Ria Ved and the students from all the three colleges who were in organizing committee. So it's my pleasure because these are the students who are at the heart of everything. We conduct lots of things for them. So I wish to put these students' name on record. So Dhrumi Singh, Ria Ved, Abhishek Matre, Bhavika Agarwal, Aishwarya Ponugati from Bhavans College, Vinita Ramteke, Siddhi Padvekar, and Supriya Jadhav from Nathu College, Akshata Yadav, Trupti Sakpal, Jayashri Akhade, Feza Tambe from ICS College, Khed. All these are the students from first year, second year, and third year undergraduates. So thankful to entire organizing committee members. They handled the entire event very smoothly. And definitely at the end, I wish to propose my vote of thanks for all the participants. We have on the Zoom, we had sustained participation from 230 to 250 participants, which include students and faculty members from all over the nation. We received registration from all the states of our country. So thankful to them. Definitely this particular webinar is very helpful to them, even teaching faculty and even students. And definitely it will be helpful for them to pursue their career in different fields. So thankful to all the participants, professors, students who attended this particular webinar from the beginning till the end. And definitely if I forget any name to put on this record, so I'm thankful to each and everyone who contributed for the success of this particular webinar. So thank you to all, and with the permission of all the principals, conveners, and definitely today's most valuable resource person, Dr. K. Venkat Satish sir, that
Thank
this
you, sir.
particular webinar
Thank
is
you to
over.
everyone. Thank you, sir.
Definitely, sir. Thank you. So with your permission, I wish to state that this particular webinar is over.
Okay, sir. I will leave, sir. Shall I leave?
Yes, sir. Yes, definitely. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, just a thing that feedback link on YouTube will be shared shortly. So I request all participants.
Yes, dear all participants, please.
Sir, please, I would like to request you give some more time for the feedback, because
Yes.
we will get the message from the students, not fill up the forms. So please give more time to the students by filling the forms. Sometimes what happens, they should not find out the link. And so please give some times for the students to fill up the
Yes, sir.
forms.
Yes, sir. Yes, it will be open. It will be open.
Sir, as you are the host on YouTube, please share the link there because it's not being sent there.
Okay, so shall I do that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay.
Hello.
Thank you, Sharath sir. Sharath Tiwari sir, for attending this webinar.
Thank you so much
Hello.
for inviting me in time, right?
Thank you very much, sir, for inviting me, and I'm happy and I have been satisfied. We look forward for such workshops and seminars in the coming days. As registered. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharath sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, madam.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
It was very excellent, sir. Very worthy too. And valuable sharing by Venkatesh Satish, Professor, sir. Thank you so much for organizing such a worthy and valuable seminar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable feedback.
I was much pleased to listen to that. Very systematic, simple, and very patiently explain each and every word. The best, what I can say, icon for the communication, best communication skills.
Yes, ma'am.
It was
Definitely. Definitely.
I too was handling for the PG student, but if I get it before 2 years before, I'll be excellently explaining to my children. But hereafter, I'll be sharing all the tips to them. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I'm Sanika Kadate from DBJ College, FY based student. Today's lecture was very excellent.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
Sir,
Yes, Riya.
sir, one of the participants wants to make some sort of correction in his certificate.
Okay.
Is the resource person available, sir? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Thank
I have
you.
a question. Yeah, I have a question, sir. That's it. Is resource person available, sir? Sir, today's.
Yeah, no, sir. Resource person left the meeting.
Okay. Right, sir. Thank you. Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sunil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine, excellent, nice person. We will be having contacts, and in future also we'll invite him to conduct some session in our college.
Yes, sir. Offline, definitely, sir.
Sometime we have personal physical contact with resource people, and we should conduct offline also in future for a good topic like corporate communication for the students, like that, opportunities that they have in industry and all that. Fine, excellent.
Yes,
Anything
sir.
else to be here in the link? Still, it's okay, no?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Can I
sir.
do? I can leave?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your support.
Okay. It's all your efforts, team work it is. Very good, you all done very nicely. In future also, best of luck.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye to everybody. Thank you to everybody, every students.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Sunil, sir.
Yes, Pawan, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
सर
good
मैं
evening, sir.
फीडबैक फॉर्म नहीं भर सकता, ब्लाइंड हूँ ना. हेलो सर, मैं फीड फॉर्म नहीं भर सकता जो आप फीडबैक फॉर्म भर रहे.
ओके, आप भवंस कॉलेज से हो ना?
यस, मैं भवंस कॉलेज से हूँ.
Okay, so later on I will help you. Don't worry.
ओके, थैंक यू सर. वेरी नाइस स्पीच था, वेरी गुड, बहुत अच्छा लगा.
Thank you.
थैंक यू.
So good evening, sir.
Pawan, sir. Good evening.
Sir, good evening, sir. It's a really wonderful session, sir. Actually, I'm from Andhra Pradesh and I'm working as a soft skills trainer in Tirumala Engineering College, which is actually located in Guntur district, sir. So I have been taking classes to many students on communication skills, but today's session, it is something different, sir. So resource person has excellent skills in terms of communicating and interacting with the people. So definitely I have taken some inputs, whatever the lecture he had given. So definitely I will apply in my classrooms also, sir. Thank you very much. So my small request, if it is possible, try to conduct more sessions in that way. And
Definitely,
I really
sir.
appreciate your whole team, the way you have driven this session. So without any mistakes, and I really appreciate your coordination also. You are in sync with each other, and you have made it success. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for attending and giving this valuable feedback.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, my name is Vice Solomon, sir. I have been working in NRA Institute of Technology in Agripalli. Yeah, it's a nice session, sir. I enjoyed a lot. The resource person presentation on soft skills, really, it has given a good chance, and it provided an opportunity to learn the things in teaching also. So please convey my special thanks to sir. Actually, I'm traveling, that's why I couldn't connect.
Yes, sir. We came to know that you are in train right
yes,
now.
sir. Bus, college bus. Sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
In the future, also, we are waiting for, we are looking forward for this type of seminars from your institution. And I especially thank for the organizers and really conducting this successful webinar. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, participants are waiting for feedback link on YouTube. Can you please share it over there?
Okay, 1 minute. Yes, Ray, it is posted over there in YouTube chat box.
Thank you so much, Sunil, sir, for this opportunity.
Yes, thank you, Bhavika.
Thank you, sir, for this opportunity.
So will you
Yes,
post
Abhishek.
it in Zoom also?
Hello?
Will you post the link in a Zoom?
Yes, sir, definitely, sir.
Okay then. Thank you.
So it was actually means a different experience. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Yes, Abhishek, thank you. Sutar, sir.
Sir, you sent certificate link?
Yes, sir. Sent. Sir, I also send you the certificate link. It is already there in the chat box.
Okay.
On your personal WhatsApp, I also send you, sir, so that you can share with your students, sir.
Okay.
Is it fine, sir?
Yes, I will check it.
Yeah, yes, sir. Hello, Ria.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we'll keep this Zoom meeting on for another 5 minutes so that people can fill the Google form.
Sure, sir.
Yes, by the time Aishwarya.
Yes, sir.
Yes, wish to say something.
Yes, I was thinking to give feedback to Venkat sir, but he actually left the meeting.
Yes, so now you can give.
Yeah, so it was a very interesting session, and all the examples that he provided were so nice. And I don't think I can forget his examples, especially the first one, the Baptist church one. It was so hilarious. And also, he elucidated all the 4 important skills of communication, which were listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. And all this information which he gave us will in turn make our interpersonal skills more effective. And I personally wish to participate in more webinars like this. And thank you, sir, for organizing this and giving us an opportunity to be the committee members and participate too.
Yes, yes, Aishwarya, thank you. So I request students from all the 3 colleges, if you are here on this call, you can give your feedback.
So I want to give the feedback. In this session means Sir Venkatesh sir explained he explained very nicely. Okay, it was understandable.
तुला मिळाला हे जरा बघ जरा हे बघ एक म्हणाला बघ थँक्यू फॉर ऑर्गनायझिंग रिसिव्ड माय सर्टिफिकेट बाय ईमेल ह्याला कुठे लिंक सापडली
फीडबॅक तुम्हाला भेटली ना फीडबॅक फॉर्म भरलाय तुम्ही
नाही भराय
तो त्याची लिंक नाही तुमच्याकडे
कुठं आहे तिकडे जरा दाखवू
Abhishek, you may go ahead and give your feedback.
Yeah. So it was an excellent experience. Okay, means it was not heavy with jargons. It was easy to understand, and I liked it. And it was also fun. Not fun. It was a different experience working as a support team for this guest speech. I enjoyed my part. I liked it. Thank you, sir, for giving that opportunity to me.
Yes, Abhishek, thank you.
And one more thing, sir. Guys, who are on YouTube still can't access the link. Okay, so I don't know what's the issue. They still can't access the link. I think YouTube just removes the link.
It is
If
posted.
anyone shares.
It is posted by me over there.
Yeah, it's posted, but Suraj just messaged me. He was on YouTube. He just messaged me that he can't see the link.
I think people will have to copy paste that link and to use it. So just put it in the chat box there, because we have done our bit.
Yeah, Abhishek, or do one thing. Give your WhatsApp number over there. So they will contact you, and then you can give them the feedback from. Riya and Rumi, just have a track of chat box. If any professor or student is facing any kind of problem to fill up the form, just
Yes,
see that
sir.
messages. Huh? Okay.
Yes, sir.
सुनील सर लिंक बंद करून देऊ YouTube लिंक.
हाँ राहुल सर.
हाँ सर.
एक मिनिट. Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have not posted a message over there, no?
I did. I did post message over there.
Yeah, the link is removed by YouTube.
Yes, they removed it. So they will message me. I have posted my number over there. Whoever needs that link, they will message me. I will give it to.
So Abhishek, shall we close the YouTube link now?
Yeah, they can see that message from replay, live chat replay. They can see that message. So if you go ahead and close the link, close the live video, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. They can still see my number over there.
Yes, Rahul sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Rahul sir, thank you very much for technical support.
Anytime, sir. Anytime for you.
We can just close the YouTube link now.
Sir, मला होस्ट करा तुम्ही. होस्ट करा मला.
Okay, 1 minute. You are the co-host now, na? Correct?
I think yes.
So shall I make you host?
Sir, I'm not host. Yes. I'm not host. I'm co-host, sir.
Okay, 1 minute.